In your previous video, you had told about the possibility of even space travel through the Siddha system. It sounds very exciting. Can you just elaborate a bit more on that?
Yes, it is definitely exciting. For example, now we talk of people planning space missions. Earlier, just the previous decade, most of humanity would have rejected such ideas. But now we have systematically, as a humanity, we have worked on multiple aspects to be able to achieve, and this is a singular achievement to be able to enable space travel. So there are things like, for example, exoplanet discoveries that are happening. More and more planets similar to Earth in other stellar systems in our Milky Way galaxy are being discovered as we speak. So it's in the tens of thousands, if not in millions and billions. So much excitement is there in terms of exoplanet discoveries. That means the possibilities of life, as per modern sciences, is now people are looking not just within Earth, but going outside of the orbit of the Earth. So that's very very critical. The second aspect is also looking at, for example, fuels. How can we power such travel? The space vehicle design, the fuels that will power such extraterrestrial travel, extraterrestrial movement. The third aspect is how to create, or what is called terraform, or how to create Earth-like biospheres which will be suitable for life, right? The life as we know it. Now the life that we know it is mostly focused on biochemical mechanisms. This biochemistry is very unique. This signature, how do we recreate in other places? The fourth is genetic transmission and so on, where how do we make sure that there is continuity of life, right? So these are active areas of research that are going on. Even things like food, how to grow food, and hence what are the essential nutrition that is required by the body, and how to encapsulate it in a capsule, for example. Why do we need a full-grown biosphere? So such kinds of questions are being asked, and new advancements are being made. Even in areas like neuroscience, where long travel, how do you put your mind to rest? Otherwise the mind could be bored, agitated by not having an environment like Earth during space travel. So we have concepts like wormhole, how to travel from one point in space to another point in space. Now these all, if we look at in the past decade, in the past decades, these would not even be looked at as science fiction, for example. But now these are areas of concrete research and development with respect to modern sciences. And that's where now more than ever the Siddha system has become very relevant, because the Siddhas have worked upon all of these dimensions. If we look at their literature, for example, Bhogar Saptakantam. Bhogar was a great Siddha Purusha, who established the Navapashana Vigraha of Lord Murugan in Payani. So if we look at such works, they give concrete input with respect to such sciences. For example, there is the science of Guligai. So Guligai enables travel through space at high speeds and with regulatory mechanisms. So that is mentioned in a very concrete manner at multiple places. So the Siddhas have mentioned. So we have seen, for example, how do we retain this body for a prolonged period of time, for ages together? If we are looking at exoplanets and we are looking at space travel, this science of the Siddhas become very relevant, because there is clear mention in Siddhas texts like Agasthyar, Bhogar, Pulipani, or Yugi Muni, or Machamuni. So many Siddha works spread over mention deep points. So the science of longevity is not just to prolong life without an aspiration. The aspiration is very clear. If we need to be of service to humanity, if we need to be of service to all living beings, we need a long life and to be able to attain to fulfillment. And in that, it's a scientific process. It's not ad hoc. Just because we desire to be happy, we don't end up being happy. So that's where a concrete, mixture of scientific aspects of herbs, metals, and so on, those intermixed with cellular transformation. How do we practically achieve it? How do we work on, the body as an instrument for divine consciousness? So the Siddhas always focus on divine consciousness, and that is a very critical undertone, which is missing in the modern scientific pursuit. So that also is very critical. So that way, if the body is transformed to be able to live under any circumstances. Now the body is not capable of living under any circumstances. It requires a very protected zone under which the body will retains its integrity. The Siddhas work clearly points to transforming the body so that it can live under diverse circumstances, even extreme circumstances. Now we have living yogis in the heights of Himalayan cold, extreme weather, and the pressure is so low and still in full health. Similarly, there are works that mention living underwater, and you can see such circumstances which modern science has still not explored are explored by the Siddhas. So that way it can really inform what can be called the future of space exploration, especially since we live in Bharat, in India. This knowledge is accessible, and we have it in our DNA to be able to decode it. So that way it's very exciting practical strategies that are mentioned. For example, the science of pranayama goes from external prana, which is through breathing, takes it to internal prana without breathing. There are processes described by Siddhas in terms of kumbhakas and mudras, which will help achieve a state of inner functioning without dependence on external conditions. Without depending on oxygenated environments, for example. That might be shocking to certain view, because it depends, the entire biochemistry depends on oxygenation. But the Siddhas have gone to such an extent that you don't even need an oxygenated environment for the body to be preserved. And that is something amazing. There are traditions that are mentioned where the Siddhas live in samadhi for long durations, what are called jiva samadhis. And then there are mention of Siddhas who travel, having guligai, they travel to any destination, without even going through the suffering. If we travel through aeroplane, we suffer from jet lag. The time zone is different and so on. But imagine space travel, there it's not even time zone. It's a different zone altogether. You'll be zoned out. So how does the body handle such wide changes, wide ranging changes, and how to technically go about it? That's the key thing. Not just a vague concept, not as a philosophy, but a technical precision, where the health and the life has to be retained. So these and much more are available in the works of the Siddhas. And that's where the Siddha tradition is again getting revived. Now that people have access to the yogic tradition, the Siddha tradition is one step further, which is very important to propel humanity into the next phase of our existence on earth, to be able to communicate with other lokas, so to speak, because these are clearly recorded in the Siddha tradition.